Welcome to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast. Use the power of discovering new habits to create success in all areas of life. Body, fitness and nutrition, being, spirituality, passion and purpose, balance, marriage, kids and relationships, business, marketing, sales, leadership and systems. Transform your life by learning how habits work. And now your host, a husband, father, entrepreneur, trainer, coach, and warrior, Jesse Ewell.
Welcome back to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Ewell, and today we're going to be talking about skydiving. And I'm here with my beautiful wife,
Katie.
CEO mom, Katie, and our experience skydiving over this last weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, so back in December 2018, almost 6 months ago, Katie decided it would be a good idea for me to face my fears and go skydiving. And so for the last 6 months, I didn't know if that meant, and also during this time, we have upped my life insurance policy. So I wasn't sure if this was an indication of maybe the person that I would be jumping with would have possibly unclip me through halfway through the flight or the jump.
Let's also talk about Christmas gifts, and it's hard to buy you things at times. And so I was like, hey, this is something that you've never done. So here we go.
Yeah. So, you challenged me to face a lifetime fear of heights.
I think you've also done so many other things. This was one thing that you were scared to do. So I was like, all right, this doesn't really scare me. So I'm in this. I'll do this. And getting you skydiving as a gift, it was like, I think you opened it and you were like, are you kidding?
Yeah, I was thinking more than that, but I won't tell you exactly what I was thinking.
That's okay.
But it had at least four-letter word in it. And it was like, oh, shit.
Maybe it was fun, F-U-N-N.
Yeah, with a capital F. Okay, so you obviously challenged me. I've done lots of physical challenges, but this was a different type of challenge. I always kind of look at physical challenges. These are things that I can control as far as my training and stuff like that. And so they end up being something that's a little bit easier for me, but this was one that I had zero control over other than just showing up.
Yep.
So let's talk about this, because you sound like you're really talkative about this subject.
Well,
today.
I think what's funny is that we had scheduled it many times. Oh my God, probably 6 different times. And because of weather, if it's cloudy or anything, you can't, obviously they don't want to take the plane up and have you jump through. And I can remember every time, I'm like, oh, we got our skydive planned, and Jess would be like, oh, yay. And then I'd text him and be like, well, we canceled it. And it was like, literally I could feel your energy be like, oh yeah, I'm getting out of this. And and actually the day, it was, when did we go? Saturday morning. We were booked for 10 a.m. And Jesse was looking at the forecast Friday night, and he's like, oh, it's going to be cloudy. They're going to cancel it. Should we just call? Should we just call and see if they want to cancel it? And I'm like, no, we're going this time. I don't care what the weather's like, whatnot. We have a sitter. We're getting in the car. We're going. If it turns into a date morning, it turns into a date morning, but we are going. And it was cloudy in where we live. And so, but we took off and we went. And by the time we got to go jump in Oceanside, it was sunny. And I think Jess started to sweat right then and there. And we checked in. We were supposed to jump at 10, and we checked in about 9:45. And they did have some clouds for their 9 o'clock jump, so they were a bit behind. And so they told us, they got us checked in. We signed our life away. I think die or death or whatever. I don't know how many times we checked the box that, we're not going to sue them. We're not going to this. And our life is in our hands. And we went up to the front and she said, well, you have about an hour and 45 minutes. So go get coffee, grab some breakfast, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So we had a lot more time to think about it.
Yeah, so we went and had a smoothie, I remember, and I'm thinking, man, should I really be eating this right now? and drinking this, because I know myself, and anytime it comes to like a sporting event or something that I've prepared for, everything starts kind of like clearing out both ends. And in doing that, I felt myself start having to go to the bathroom, several times, just in that morning. And then also like the, oh shit factor started to kick in, that like, this is really going to be real. And I did kind of have sweaty palms, but I was also surprised that I wasn't super like stressed. I wasn't super, scared to do it. I did kind of feel this fear and anxiety, but I wasn't like in this place of like, oh shit, I'm not going up there at all.
Well, and it's crazy because what I really found out and reminded I hadn't been in a situation like this in a while. So Jess kept asking me, so we get back to the place after and we still have some time, and you literally watch this screen and it shows you when you come up, like what plane you're going to be on. And then you know that your person's going to call you, and because we've watched it. But Jess kept saying to me, are you nervous? And I'm like, no, but you are, because you keep asking me. But I go to this place of, I just like, it's like I zone it out. I don't want to talk. I don't want to. So him asking me, it was almost like, nope, I'm not. But I just want to, I don't know. I think I go to just this place of shutdown mode and focus on, I'm doing this, and I just have to be quiet, like just be quiet. Where Jess was more talkative, which typically that's totally,
which is like the complete opposite of you.
So that's funny.
I think I was just trying to see like where you were at, so I could like declare where I was at.
Oh,
but you didn't really give me anything, so I just kind of played along with you.
Yeah, I think I literally, in my mindset, I just kind of shut down and I hone in on.
It's kind of like when you had the kids.
Yes, having a baby, definitely.
That's what it kind of reminded me of
being
you,
focused, just
you having a baby.
Well, it was nothing like having a baby, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean,
yes,
the pregame
Yeah.
was kind of like having a baby. But let's talk about like ways to actually challenge your spouse, because this was really what I kind of like looked at. It was like, hey, here's this fear that I don't know if I would have actually picked this for myself ever to do and really challenge. Like, it's crossed my mind once or twice, but it was always like, hell no, I'm not doing that. So when you did this, you challenged me to do something that I hadn't done before. So like what was going on in your mind?
Well, I'll tell you what was going on. Like, you're the biggest fucking badass. Like, I will not run or walk, whatever, 50 miles. I am not about to sleep or not sleep for 3 nights and hallucinate and see Teletubbies on a hill. Like, that just doesn't, I mean, you just do, like, you crave this stuff. And so this was something I was like, yeah, like, I got this on him. Like, I'm not scared. Like, I kind of felt like I was like, wow, like I can rise to your level and we can take this on together. And to me, it was like, of course I was a little bit nervous, but it wasn't the fear that you have of heights. And so I was like, I don't know. I just knew that to do it together and to come together, I felt we would create, like, I don't know, this next level, and to be able to talk through it together and after and whatnot. So I think that's where I was.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of turned me on when you said that I was a badass. So,
well, honey, really? Like, think of the things that you've done and you do. Like, that's John.
Well, yeah, I know that, but you don't say that very often. So,
okay.
that
Well, I
felt,
call you an animal. Isn't
oh,
that,
okay.
like,
Well,
yeah.
that's way better. That's one I like way more.
Badass or animal?
Animal.
Okay.
Not. Okay. So we're going through this, and I'm like, oh shit, this is really gonna happen. I think the place that I kind of started to go was as much as I've maybe felt fear or had this afraid of heights, like it didn't feel the same as it's felt when I've been maybe I think the places that I've been scared the most of heights are like when I'm around dams, or even when I go over like bridges and there's like this huge drop off to the side. But I can't say getting on a plane, a normal plane, ever really like freaked me out with the fear of heights.
Right.
So I wasn't really sure, like, hey, how would I actually take this once we took off? But you know, we sat there for.
Well, let's wait. So we get our names. Our names show up, and they're like, they get who we are. And I've had Jesse run to the car because I need an energy drink. Like for some reason, all of a sudden, I'm like, I just need something. So they call our names, and they get us in a harness, and I'm harnessed up, and they're like, well, where's Jesse? Where's Jesse? I'm like, he's coming. And it's cool because you get and I don't know what they're called. She to me was like my leader. She was my lead, and her name was Kate, and I was Katie. So we were like Team Katie, which was awesome. And Jesse had a guy, couldn't really, Roberto, he was funny. And he's like, well, where is he? Is he jumping? Am I jumping alone? And so they harness you up and they strap you. And she talks to me a little bit about how she's going to lead me and how to just relax. And I was like, all right, like I got this. And what about you? Like when he was strapping you up and on our way, like on our walk to the plane and getting on, I mean, it was a pretty quick, from the time our name came up and they put on our harnesses, it was a pretty quick, like, let's go.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of time to think about it. It was kind of like, oh shit, here we go. I kind of felt like I was like getting ready to go out onto the field for like a football game or like an event. And, you know, even like you were kind of having fun. The girl you were with was kind of, you know, doing the same stuff, but my guy was kind of like quiet, wasn't saying much. And I'm sitting here thinking like, what the hell? Like this guy's not saying anything to me. He's not like even saying, relax. Is this your first time? He's just like, let's go. Which he probably could smell, you know, the fear on me and the anxiety. So we get on the plane, and as soon as we get on the plane, I'm kind of like, oh shit, like this. And
you're stuffed in. If you guys have never done this, it's a tiny plane, and you're like riding a horse. You're like straddling the seat. And so my gal is, I think there's someone behind her, but I'm between her legs. Jesse's guide's between my legs, and then he's between, and then there's 3 guys that are jumping single because there's other jumpers in the middle. Like you're packed in there like sardines. Like yeah.
And the guy had the door open. The door wide open as we took off. And I'm like, dude, like thinking, are you going to shut this? And then I'm like looking around, and everybody is kind of seems like they're having fun. Katie's like talking. I could hear her very loud. She's like having fun. And then all these people are like, I felt like they were staring at me. It was like, hey, this is your first time, isn't it?
They're like, whose idea was this? That's what they said.
Yeah. So I was just kind of zoning out. I remember, you know, kind of having anxiety and fear. But I also remember like just sitting there and really trying to breathe through it and work through it as this would come up. And, you know, Katie would, you know, bump me, and then she'd ask the guy, oh, is he okay? And
I asked you, I'm like, babe, are you? And you're like, I'm fine. And I'm like, I could tell. And it's a weird place to be in a marriage and to have, you know, this strong husband who is going to protect me in any situation. Like
except maybe in the air getting ready to jump out of the airplane. Right,
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm like, shit, like and me just being how I am, are you okay? And he's fine, whatever. And his guide's like, oh, he's shaking. And I'm like, all right. And then, you know, but yeah, it was an interest that I remember feeling that almost this like, shit, like we're going up together and we're jumping like
together.
Well, but not. I'm going to watch you jump out first. And that's what she says. Cause I'm like, well, who's going first? And she's like, because of weight, you guys the single ones will jump, and then I will watch you jump. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
And I had, you know, no idea. And really, as we went up, it was like, oh, this isn't that bad. Thinking, okay, well, we're going to be dropping soon. And then little did I know that we went up like double where I thought we were going to be. And so as we reached kind of the top or the peak of where we were going, I was like, man, this is like starting to be really high, starting to feel really high. And then all of a sudden the door opens and it's like, oh shit, like it's getting real. And then all the people in the back dive out like,
well, wait, let's stop for a second. So we think about that in life. Like you're at this moment where like you're about to, get married, have the baby, like start a business, whatever it is. I mean, it can even be something like, sell your business and move, you know what I mean? And you get to this point and you're like, holy shit. And you can, and I even asked you can say like, I'm not doing this. You can look back, or you can move up to this opening in the plane, literally in the air. And for Jesse, my guide was she's like, you're going to tuck your feet under. And she asked me, she's like, do you want to flip out or do you just want to like, and I was like, I don't care. And we did end up flipping, but holy shit.
Yeah. My guy said two things. He's like,
look at the camera
and smile. And that was on his wrist. And then he said, have fun. Look at the camera, smile, and have fun. And then he's like, when you get done with this, you will look at fear completely different than you ever have. And I didn't really know what that meant at the time. But as the door opened, the guys jumped out, and then we were literally the next. And I kind of felt like a cat who's got its claws dug in to like those trees or what are those cat scratching things?
Yeah.
And like I was getting pulled on and really, I had no choice but to just kind of fall out. It was like it all happened so fast.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, it was just like my mind kind of went blank and I felt like I entered this dream state.
Yeah, it still seems surreal. And when I've talked to many friends and looking back, I honestly look at the pictures and watch the video and I'm like, because I know how it feels now looking at it. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, why? And for me, I love the feeling of put me on the back of a motorcycle and drive faster. Let's get in a sports car and let's go how many miles per hour down the freeway? Or, I get this thrill on rides. And I thought I'm going to get this high. Like, this is going to be amazing. But even I never, it was just a whole different experience, really, for me. I can remember the first chute being pulled and literally saying to Kate, are we okay? And she's like, yeah. And then just looking around and I think I was just ready to have my feet back on the ground.
Yeah. So I think my favorite part was obviously free falling. And then I felt like when we pulled the chute, you kind of got whiplash, but I felt like I was kind of like I don't know. I just felt weird, like being in that place of not really having control and then feeling too like you're going to like fall out of the thing around your shoulders and
like the harness. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just remember kind of looking around and then I located you and, he's like, hey, there's your wife,
oh, yeah.
And I was kind of like smiling, yelling, screaming. It was like even falling was like opening my mouth. And then it was like closing it and it was like opening it and then closing it. It was like a dog whose like lips were like flying all over. And then it was like, I didn't know if I should breathe or hold my breath. And so it was just kind of like this whole experience. But, I looked around, seen the ocean, I seen the mountains. And then as I seen you and as we kind of, kept going down, it was like all of a sudden it was over. We landed. And it's like, oh shit, like that wasn't that bad. Like everything that I'd feared all kind of like went away in that moment. I didn't think about it at all as we were falling. I didn't think about dying or any of that stuff. And then when you landed, it was like, all right, oh my gosh, like we're done. I was kind of expecting you to be like screaming out loud and being like, yes, And
no, it was an amazing experience, but I was happy to have my feet on the ground, to run over, give you a hug and be like, done, we did it.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I started to kind of think about is like, okay, where else in life have I let fear get in the way or hold me back from, taking a leap? Let's just say taking a leap, maybe not from a plane, but maybe a leap of just speaking out in business.
Well, and
you know?
and you've coached, me on, I am a planner and I want things like all laid out before I take action. And what jumping out of the plane, it's like, you can't plan anything out. Like, you just jump and you go. And if you make one wrong turn, you turn back the other way, and you kind of learn as you go. But the only way to really jump is to just jump.
Yeah. And, you could kind of think of the marriage boot camp, we're doing together in a few weeks. It's like we're taking a jump, together,
right?
With, some other couples. And so the last year to me really signifies us taking a jump, by selling our businesses, by moving to Southern California, to, our kids being in a different school, to starting our own business,
just creating relationships and connections.
Yeah.
And every single day. As a mom, I feel like I'm jumping out of my comfort zone, in every situation with sports and schools. And for me, it's, as a mom, I want my kids to feel comfortable. So I have to almost be comfortable, maybe even if I'm not, so our kids feel comfortable.
Yeah. And I kind of want to bring this back around. Like, me saying, hey, let's sell the business is kind of like you buying me this, ticket to jump out of an airplane. It's like, you didn't really know how we were going to land. You didn't really know how we were going to do it, but you were like, hey, I'm committed to doing it.
Well, and doing it together. And I think that's a big thing. And, we talked about this recently. I know we have our anniversary coming up, and I wrote some vows for you. And one of them was, with you by my side, anything is possible. And 14 years ago, it was like, that was just something I wrote. Like, it didn't have, that's what I thought, but we'd been together like a year and something. But truly, like, thinking back and everything we've done, it's like, together we are more powerful. And so, leaping together, jumping together, just the support, whether it be you starting your business. Like, I may not be right here every day, but I'm behind you, celebrating you. And same as you with me and the kids, and, taking them to school or whatnot. Like, we've really created this, this bond and this habit of checking in and celebrating each other and doing it together. And really, the only way that we were able to do this is to do it together.
Yeah. And so, I think the big thing is this, like, I've challenged you, in a lot of ways to grow. You've challenged me in a lot of ways to grow. And we continue to challenge each other in ways that, are like, okay, well, how can we challenge each other now? Because really, like, moving here was probably the biggest challenge. Selling our house was a huge challenge. Selling our business was a huge challenge. Starting a new business, going into a new school, meeting new people. These have all represented this leap that we've decided to take, not once, not twice, but literally, like, it seems like every week, every month, it's almost gotten kind of normal to take a leap, and even like thinking about the plane now is like, hey, that wasn't like, I would go do that again.
I would not.
Well, you might have to, because I might buy you one for our anniversary.
No.
But just thinking about how many times in your life have you missed out on the experience of life alone because you've been unwilling to take a leap, whether it was with your spouse or by yourself, and what might change if you just began to do that.
Right. And I just want to say too that, those big challenges sometimes are easier because they're big challenges. Sometimes for me, when I think about life and just living day to day and continually like working together in your marriage and with your kids and going through what you walk through just in life, like, that's a really big challenge to stay committed and to have the battles, but break through those, it just doesn't stop.
So what's like the biggest lesson from this that you take away?
From what? Skydiving?
Yeah. Just everything we did that whole day.
For me, it's just I don't celebrate myself that much, and I'm I'm brave. Like that took a lot of guts, and to put myself out there, not only to challenge you, but to challenge me. Like I celebrate that in myself.
All right. Awesome. So you celebrate you, and I'm going to celebrate you too for challenging me to like just do something that I've maybe feared or, hid from, which isn't always easy. And if you're in a marriage and, your husband or your wife is afraid of something and you challenge them to overcome that, that takes a lot of courage on your part. And so I invite you guys just to step into having courage to challenge your spouse in a way that actually makes them better and they face their fear. And you may be the only one that can actually do that in your marriage.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I just want to thank you guys for being on here today and letting us share our experience. If you are looking to connect further with a group of like-minded people, join myself and so many others in the Habit-Based Lifestyle Secrets group on Facebook, where I'll be dropping daily habits to help you live to your full potential. If you want to be one of our next case studies and begin living this habit-based lifestyle, maybe you have questions, comments, or requests, feel free to reach out to me, Jesse at habitbasedlifestyle.com. You can also check out my website, Jesse, JESSEEWELL.com. Until next episode, have a great day.